AI agents. They're the latest species, transforming how work gets done all across the world. They bring the promise of unparalleled innovation, but it's not without some risk. When left ungoverned, these seemingly harmless agents become agents of chaos. Agents appear from seemingly everywhere, leading to agent sprawl. But the Agent Development Lifecycle reins in this chaos, creating a harmonious habitat and restoring order to the ecosystem. Let's watch. Here we have an IT help desk agent in its natural habitat, calmly and quickly routing tickets and troubleshooting technical issues, but also tracking its performance to help it improve over time and demonstrate return on investment. And here you can see the global impact of the Agent Development Lifecycle, empowering agents to create harmony through just the right amount of structure. Now, let us hear from some human experts about how to bring this all to life.
Welcome everyone. I am Rohan from Glean's product team, and today I am excited to talk to you about how we make AI agents more engaged, productive, and effective at work. Now, I know there are a lot of definitions of what AI agents are in this industry, so I want to make sure everyone here is on the same page. This is how we think about what AI agents are. They are AI-based teammates with specialized expertise and the ability to take action on a given problem or a knowledge domain. For example, we have agents that help us manage support tickets, assist with creating engineering design documents, and also review the progress of our sales team. Since launching Glean Agents, our team has spoken to hundreds of customers, and the biggest lesson we took away from these conversations was incredibly simple. Agents may be new, but they are fundamentally software. And as such, they need to be managed with the same level of rigor as any other piece of software within your organization. We've seen that our most successful customers follow a set of practices that we call the Agent Development Lifecycle, or ADLC. These practices reduce agent sprawl, they ensure business alignment, foreground ROI, and ensure the best possible outcomes for agent adoption. And with how fast the AI industry is moving, it may feel like a waste of time to add structure and process to agent building. But what we've seen is quite the opposite. Adding structure enables you to move faster in the long run and accelerate your time to value. We will be talking through every step of this life cycle while highlighting new product improvements to Glean Agents, stories from our customers, and Glean itself on how agents have been changing the way we do business. And today we're going to be quite vulnerable. We have learned a lot of things the hard way, and we think you should all be able to learn from our mistakes. Now, if you have questions as we go through this, please put them in the chat. We will be answering them live, including a Q&A session at the end of this presentation. Now, Glean is uniquely able to deliver enterprise-ready agents because our work platform is built on a foundation that brings together and understands all of your company's data. But context alone isn't sufficient. We combine fast, comprehensive context for AI with foundational security and a compliance fabric that ensures agents cannot access information beyond their scope or beyond the user's permissioned access. Other platforms will fall short on at least one of these dimensions, but Glean is able to deliver on all three. This means agent builders in Glean are free to focus on building for business impact rather than spending time managing data connections, worrying about access controls, or managing security on a per-agent basis. Admins can also see how agents are working across their organization and handle governance in one centralized place, all supported by powerful security features. Glean Agents is built on this secure foundation and enables special-purpose applications to tackle complex, high-value work for each role, team, and industry. Glean is the only work AI platform where all of these pieces are already in place. the knowledge foundation, the security fabric, and the governance tools so that agents can be built and deployed at enterprise scale. That end-to-end control is precisely what makes it possible for us to follow a consistent set of practices across your entire agent portfolio, the Enterprise ADLC. This 7-step process is built from a year of hard work and lessons learned across Glean and our community from every industry. You start by understanding the problem and thinking about how an agent can solve it. Then, you think through how the agent gets the data it needs and start building the agent. Once it is built, you can focus on rolling it out to the employees in your organization and use their feedback to continuously improve the agent. That's the overview, but let's dive in a bit deeper. The Enterprise ADLC starts before you touch a single agent instruction or even a single line of code. It starts with the opportunity phase. It may seem like you can skip this step, but we find that it is critical to set you up for success in the future. At Glean, we saw so many people get caught up in an exciting idea, but they did not think through what value it would bring to the organization or themselves. They just saw that, oh, I can do this really cool thing with an agent, and took off. If they had spent even 15 minutes thinking more deeply about the problem, they would have had a better and a more informed direction for what they were building. Instead, initially we saw dozens of agents flop because the agent builder did not think through beyond their first cool idea. Here are 2 questions we recommend every person building an agent at Glean has to answer before they get started. First, what is the problem this agent is trying to solve? And second, what happens if this agent does not get built? By answering these 2 simple questions, our experience shows that resulting agent is far more likely to be successful. Now, once you have that foundation, you can quickly move on to the second stage, the agent design. This is where you think through how your agent will work with the people it's supposed to assist. What sort of user journeys should this agent support? How will you try to solve the problem that you identified in stage 1? And if you're building an agent for people outside of your own department or experience, ask them what would be most helpful. You don't have to worry about weeks of user research sessions. I'm talking about sending a few quick DM or Slack messages. And I'm really speaking from experience here from a mistake we made. We wanted to build an agent that could provide our sales team with quick and accurate answers about our product capabilities to assist them in tricky sales calls. Initially, we thought they would get the most benefit from a call companion, an agent that they could send messages to in the middle of calls. But when we built that, we found out that our A's actually do not want to seem distracted when they're speaking with customers. Instead, what they wanted was an agent that could prepare them every single day in advance of their meetings with all the information they were likely to need. And then there's even more we've learned in this stage too. For more insights on agent design and other key problems customers have faced, here's Antu, one of our AI outcome managers, to share what she's learned.
Hi, I'm Antu. I'm an AI Outcomes Manager here at Glean. When customers build their first agents, the first thing they typically do is try to bite off more than they can chew. Agents do best when they're focused on a single task, and trying to cram too much work into one agent is a recipe for disaster. Don't be afraid to break up one larger job into multiple smaller agents that can work with one another. You'll get better results that way.
Thanks, Antu. Once you've defined what the agent will do, your next step is to think through stage 3, agent performance. In this stage, you will align on what a good output looks like for your agent, both in terms of the technical results as well as the business metrics. You want to take time to understand what will make this agent successful before you go build it. This needs to be aligned with the value and the user journeys that you've defined in the previous 2 stages. Now, this is a critical step to avoid the vibes-based evaluations that have been plaguing AI agents these days. Too often we've seen agent builders, both within Glean and our customers, shrug when they've been asked about agent impact. By defining this upfront, you can ensure a shared and defined understanding of what good looks like. Let's take a perfect example of seeing these 3 stages in action. We'll use one of the agents that we use every day at Glean. While our support team can handle standard customer issues that arise through playbooks at their disposal, Some of the more complex errors require tagging our engineering team. This handoff between support and engineering was a challenge for everyone involved. This escalation process was manual. It required a lot of engineering investment to chase down potential problems and solutions, and sometimes could take days or weeks, all while requiring the support team to serve as a project manager and ensure that the customer issue got resolved. That was the pain point we identified in our opportunity stage. We designed an agent that would serve as a debugging assistant, leveraging the power of Glean and AI to understand the error, our code base, similar past issues, and solutions to solve more escalations upfront and streamline the handoff by presenting our engineers with the in-depth report on the issue, the potential solutions, and a path to resolution. During the performance stage, we identified time to resolution as the key business metric we wanted to drive. We also expected to see significant engineering time savings since they would be getting suggested solutions with every escalation rather than having to spend time finding things out for themselves. When we analyzed the results, what we saw was that this escalation agent cut the median time to resolve an assigned escalation by 5 days, meaning that customers were receiving better answers and faster based on the power of AI. Based on our internal estimates, this one agent will generate roughly $1.7 million in return on investment from all the engineering time saved. At this point, you have identified what problem the agent will solve, how it will try to solve the problem, and what a good result looks like for this agent. You're almost ready to start building. But before you do, you need to map out what information this agent needs to complete its work. Sales agents need call transcripts, email, and CRM data. On the other hand, software engineering agents might need playbooks from Confluence, tickets from Jira, and source code from GitHub. Customer support agents require documentation from your company's knowledge base, ticketing information from Zendesk or Service Cloud, and so on. Using Glean, this is all incredibly simple. We provide one-click access to all of those systems and more. But if you're building an agent using another builder, you need to make sure that you can have consistent, compliant, and performant access to all the necessary information. When creating a proof of concept without using Glean, we've seen companies shortcut the step by loading some test data into a common data store like an S3 bucket. This may seem like an easy way to see what's possible with AI, but actually sets you up for challenges down the road when the integration data is no longer something you can gloss over. Once you have all of your inputs understood and you've worked through the requirements that we've developed in the earlier stages of the lifecycle, you're now ready to put the agent together in the develop phase. To talk us through that and the rest of the enterprise ADLC, I'd like to introduce Celine, who's been spearheading our agent builder efforts.
Thanks, Rohan. You already saw the impact that powerful, knowledgeable AI agents can have on your business. Now, I want to walk you through how to build one for yourself using our agent builder. For those of you who are used to Glean Agents, this experience might look a little different from what you're used to. This is the new Auto Mode builder, which we are making generally available today. This new builder delivers the best of both worlds. Highly effective agents with the straightforward, AI-first creation experience. To begin, I'll type just a couple of sentences about the agent that I want to build. In this case, an agent to help our support teams to prevent future tickets by suggesting edits to our documentation. Glean will then ask me clarifying questions to guide the agent building process. I can click on the provided options or choose to write my own answers if the perfect one doesn't show up yet. Now that Glean has the information it needs, it will get started writing the agent for me. In the past, low-code building experiences were underpowered compared to code interfaces. But this new Auto Mode is our most effective way to build an agent yet. Although more manually created workflow agents remain extremely powerful, using Auto Mode can deliver a significant boost to quality for many tasks. Auto Mode is particularly powerful because agents automatically manage memory through Glean's Agent Sandbox, dynamically orchestrate tools, and write and execute code, making them far more adaptable to user input and conversational in their problem solving. Rather than simply stapling a large language model to a pre-existing workflow, these agents leverage the full capabilities of advanced frontier models to create complex digital coworkers that will only become more capable over time. And here, you can see the finished agent. Glean has identified the correct instructions and provided it with the necessary actions to find support tickets and update our documentation in GitHub. In addition, Glean also tests the agent to ensure that it behaves as expected. I can actually provide feedback on how the agent works, and Glean can make adjustments on the fly, bringing that same vibe coding workflow to your agent building experience. That's the new way we build agents with Glean. But there's even more that agents can do. As they become more powerful, it makes sense to offload more responsibility for complex asynchronous tasks to agents that respond automatically to events across your enterprise. To assist with that, we have opened up the public beta for a new class of agent triggers that allow agents to react to events across your business, like the CRM update agent that can take action when a new gong call appears. I actually have a call from earlier today that I can show you in my chat history. Here you can see that the agent extracted key information from the call and mapped it to the fields that I need to update in Salesforce. All of this looks right, but I want to make sure that the agent hasn't missed anything. So here, I can actually ask a follow-up question about the summary field, and the agent will rethink its answer, update the changes it plans to make using our Salesforce action, and ask me to review before proceeding. Now that I'm satisfied, the agent can finish its task and Salesforce is up to date. So those are two great examples of agents. But they can't do anything to help your organization unless people use them, which is how we get to the sixth stage in the agent lifecycle: launch. Launching an agent is more than just clicking publish. You have to make sure that this new agent is put in front of the right users within your organization, and that it has the correct guardrails in place so that you and your users can feel confident in using it. This is why our new agent library makes it easier for users to discover important agents and for admins to share those agents. As you can see, there's a new verification badge that lets users know this agent has been reviewed and approved by a Glean admin. So there's no chance for agent sprawl and no question that this agent is the right one. We also have new security capabilities that will help ensure that agents are good coworkers within the context of a wider organization. In March, our team walked you through the AWARE framework, along with how we are working to secure the next generation of AI at work. This month, we are releasing new functionality to help you better govern your agents. Admins can now declare organization-wide guardrails that all agents have to follow, like preventing interns from writing to any system of record using agents. It's a great way to have peace of mind and ensure that all your agents are following the rules. This will be available in private beta for Glean Protect Plus customers starting today. While vibe coding has made it really easy to create and launch new agents, your job isn't done after the launch step is complete. Even with the best preparation and the best development effort, no agent will be perfect when users first start interacting with it. This is where Glean's updated Agent Insights dashboard can help. During this stage of ADLC, you want to take in user feedback and compare the agent's impact against the performance metrics you define in stage 3. The first thing to review is how many people are using a given agent. And here you can see the top use cases for agents, along with how many runs those agents have seen. In addition, you can see an estimation of the number of hours saved by an agent based on real user feedback about how their workflows have been impacted by the agents that you've made. Finally, you have the ability to see trends in agent feedback, both positive and negative. Spikes of upvotes mean agents are performing really well, while downvote spikes will show areas where agents might be misconfigured or otherwise underperforming. If you want to dig deeper, you can also open the underlying agent run to better understand what happened and debug it directly. That makes it easier to spot where instructions, knowledge, model choice, or other settings may need to be adjusted to improve performance. Today, we walk you through every stage of the agent development lifecycle, from identifying the right business problem to monitoring agents in production. Each stage is designed to help your organization move faster with more confidence and with better alignment between your AI investments and your business outcomes. The ADLC isn't just a framework. It's how the most successful enterprises are turning agent chaos into a repeatable, scalable practice based on decades of experience creating software updated for our new AI-powered future. And Glean is the only platform built to support every stage of that life cycle. The knowledge foundation to power the agents, the builder to create them, the governance layer to deploy them safely, and the insights to continuously improve them. If you want to learn more about the Enterprise ADLC, we have published an ebook on glean.com that talks through all the stages in more detail and provides worksheets that can help you explore how to bring this process to life as you build agents for software engineering, customer support, and sales. And now, I'd like to welcome Rich Archibald, the SVP of Agentic Go-to-Market Engineering at HubSpot, to share his insights about developing agents at scale in conversation with Blair from our product marketing team.
Hey, Rich, thanks so much for speaking with us today.
Thanks very much for having me here, Blair. It's a pleasure to get to talk to you about all things AI transformation.
I'd love to know a little bit more about you and what you do at HubSpot and the role that you play in their AI transformation journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been with HubSpot for a little over 3 years. Most of the last year, I've been SVP of HubSpot's business systems, security, and IT, and have been leading a lot of our internal AI transformation. Recently, actually, in the last couple of weeks, I've gone and changed role ever so slightly, and I'm now SVP of Agentic Go-to-Market Engineering as well. So kind of a little bit more siloed, focused, or a little bit kind of more specialized version of AI transformation. But yeah, pretty much everything AI over the last 2 to 3 years, and absolutely loving it.
So one of the things that you brought up that I'm interested in digging into a little bit more is that sort of organizational transformation and adoption piece. This is something that I think we give short shrift to in the tech industry. You know, it's so easy to get obsessed with all of the new features that, you know, it can be hard to keep track of the human.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to know, like, for those organizations that are potentially behind you in their journey and they're staring down this sort of cliff of trying to drive transformation within their workplace, what are the key things that you've been doing that have really been successful?
Some of the things that we do regularly is both at the company level and at the organizational level is we have like a lot of structure, like we create time and space in the calendar for structured learning and experimentation. So we will have regular grow days where at a company level and again at an organizational level, we will have workshops that folks go through. That there will be some guided prompts that helps everybody do something new with AI, be it build an agent or leverage an MCP connection in some new way. So these will be both facilitated and structured in order to bring people along who have never done this before, and then will be open-ended and provide a little bit more space and creativity for the experts. We've had folks like Glean come in and facilitate these workshops for us in the past and really show people the power of the product and show people the different capabilities to kind of grow the imagination. We have internal demos channels, which are just really some of the most fun places to hang out, where regularly people post whatever is the new hot, cool techers they've built and show people how to use it. One of the things I find that I spend a lot of my time doing is doing analytics on the things that actually have been built in order to find the ROI, because really you can do the let 1,000 flowers bloom via all of your AI days and grow days. But what you really want to be able to do is find the signal in the noise and elevate that and find things that people seem to be doing a lot that actually don't seem to be driving ROI. So I would say one of the other things we do is like we have a heavy discipline around measurement and around understanding what gets used and whether it is actually driving ROI or not. I would say, I found Glean super useful in that. I think I said it to you earlier on. Whoever's actually building your enterprise reporting feature, I want to say thank you. I feel like they know me and my needs, and definitely have found the reporting center just really tailored to that of a large enterprise who really wants to understand what are people doing and is it actually delivering value. So I've really appreciated that.
One of the things that I've heard from customers, and I feel like the rest of the agents team has as well, is, there's a lot of this concern about agent sprawl, where it feels like, IT as a profession has kind of been traumatized by the SaaS sprawl of the last 10 or 15 years. And there's this real concern of like, well, if we empower everyone to start building agents and involving and infusing AI into existing processes, are things going to run completely out of control? And I know you mentioned guardrails as a key part of that sort of methodology within HubSpot. So how do you think about approaching that sort of agent sprawl problem?
It is definitely real. And I would say one of the biggest bottlenecks right now is governance and compliance, with people looking to bring on more and more different types of tools and different types of platforms. What I try and say is, if you're working on Glean, you will get support from us. If you're not working on Glean, we will say we have a number of blessed tools that we as a business will actually provide support on. We can provide you analytics on it. We can provide you ROI analysis. We can give you security and governance. We can increase the connections of systems and data into those tools as well in a safe way. And if you're doing other things, either shadow IT or you're looking to do like a departmental purchase, that's great. You got to support it yourself. That like the reality is the centralized company IT resources is a finite resource. All of our budget's going on new tools rather than new people. And so we need to be pretty strategic about what are the things we support from not just a usability perspective, but also from a security and compliance perspective as well. And that's kind of a real concern. I think you also need to think about, particularly at an enterprise level, SSO, you need to think about like who owns this thing. Is it a person or is it a team? What happens if somebody leaves? And like, is their personal agent going to become orphaned and die? Like I've heard of that with different platforms a bunch of times before. So yeah, definitely tool sprawl, agent sprawl is a real concern. The reality is, if you want to be an AI native company, these capabilities are moving so fast. You kind of have to experiment with different things and experiment with different models, and different models are definitely better for different use cases. Like I would go to Anthropic all day long for writing code and data analytics. But when it comes to writing sales copy or marketing copy, I would definitely say ChatGPT is still by far and away the best model, like between Codex and Claude Code and and Lovable and ChatGPT design. Everything is just moving so fast, and so like you can't really say we're going to go all in on this tool to the exclusion of everything else. That's just not possible. That everything is changing so fast. So having some kind of sane defaults, like having one front door and saying, okay, this is like the AI front door that's connected to everything. here's like the safe, sane way to build build your agents. This is a safe, sane way to get company context about X, Y, and Z. Having those sane defaults is definitely doable, but I don't think you can really get over the full sprawl challenge right now without missing out on some potential experimentation.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us, Rich. We really appreciate it. And thank you for all of the insights. Thanks again for joining us today, and a big thank you to all of our customers, partners, and speakers. If you're interested in hearing more from us about the future of agents, AI at work, and everything else Glean, I invite you to visit glean.com to sign up for Glean Go, which is returning to Fort Mason in San Francisco on August 26th and 27th. In addition, if you are a Glean customer, please come check out our brand new updated Gleaniverse community, where you can learn from your peers and Glean employees about AI best practices. And if you're not a Glean customer yet and would like to learn more, sign up for a demo on glean.com. Now, we've covered a lot of ground today, and I'm sure you have plenty of questions, so I'm going to send things over to our team for live answers.
Excellent. There we go. Nothing like a little live technical issue, but thank you all for being here. Some great questions from the audience. Thank you, Blair. What a great set of announcements. So it's not too late to get your questions answered. If you have any, please use the Q&A box, and we'll get to as many as we can over the next couple of minutes here. First question that we got: if a company already experiences agent sprawl, where should they start with the framework? Auditing existing agents and trying to improve them, or picking one high-value use case to rebuild the right way? Great question. We know that agents are being built everywhere, and it's something that adds a lot of complexity, especially for CIOs. Where we would recommend you start is pick one extremely high-value use case that you know your teams are getting a lot of value from already, and then take it through the process. What happens a lot of times, especially for those of us that are on the go-to-market side, like yours truly, we have less experience building to the traditional software development lifecycle, which is really where a lot of the inspiration for the agent development lifecycle comes from. And so being able to take the problem from where it starts at the opportunity phase, design the agent, understand what good looks like, and take it through the process is a great way to actually audit the ones that are actually adding the most value. And then effectively take it one agent at a time, and don't necessarily try to bite off more than you can chew, as it were, and really start to reset your approach to agent building in a very structured way, because that's really what we are ultimately advocating. How'd I do, Celine?
Yeah, you did great.
Awesome. Let's see. Next question is from Rahul. And his question is, how do you provide feedback to agents? I've tried measuring agent performance through concrete metrics and providing specific instructions. But from my experience, when agents realize they fall short of something, they aren't particularly great at improving themselves. Celine, how would you take this one?
Yeah, Rahul, that is an excellent question. One thing that we did notice is that a lot of the times agents are built to be consumed by multiple people, right? So Rahul, you may have like thumbs up opinions that in your experience, that speak to whether the agent should perform this way or the other. But in a grand scheme of like all the other users, it may not be exactly how the agent should change the performance, because it might be working well in other people's use cases. So what we are starting with is by providing the insights into the number of upvotes and downvotes directly inside the Glean UI, so that the agent builders are able to see the trends. Is the agent performing great overall? Are we seeing more upvotes? Are we seeing downvotes? That is a great starting point to first understand how well the agents are performing. And then our plan is to provide even more details. What are all the traces and what are the specific feedbacks that are given by the end users, so that agent builders can decide how to incorporate that into modifying and iterating on the agents.
Yeah, and I think another thing to call out here too is the idea of what is a golden data set. So as you start to think about things like what great looks like at the performance stage, one of the things you can start to do is, for something like a ticketing agent, you can start to understand, like, what does resolution look like? What does escalation look like? And use that as another data point to not only, the direct user feedback that we're providing with Agent Insights, but also have a better sense of, like, what does great look like, and defining that ahead of time makes it very easy and much faster to understand if the agent is drifting or starting to perform in ways that we did not expect or anticipate. Thomas has a great question. How long does it typically take to get to the launch stage? This is a great one. So I think the way I think about this is that the discipline of the agent development lifecycle is what matters. I think where you start to figure out the length of each stage depends a little bit on blast radius. And what I mean by that is, what is the potential impact of this agent, both positive and negative? If I'm building an agent for myself, the blast radius is relatively small, which means that while I should think through over, maybe the course of 30 minutes to an hour of what the opportunity for this agent is, how am I going to measure it, how do I design it, so on and so forth, I think that's okay. It's the thought process and the methodology is what counts. Now, as we start to get into things like departmental agents that have multiple handoffs, sub-agents that are in the mix, then I start to think that, like, a better way to think about it is that, like, the opportunity phase could take a series of hours or even weeks, depending on the complexity and the business criticality of that agent. So I think a little bit depends upon what the agent is, what the potential for it is, and how critical it is to the business. And then that should help guide in terms of, how long we should take at each of these additional phases.
One thing I would add to that is that we've seen in our customer cases, as well as Glean too, that when you already have a process really well defined and you already know what the success looks like for human workers, then it's much easier to replicate that through the agents. So if you have, like, in support is probably a good example of a department that has a lot of great writings of, here, this is a playbook that we follow. In those cases, we found a much more success in being able to quickly replicate what is done in a manual way and through the AI agents.
Yeah, it's a great call out. Cool. Carmelo has a question. Walk me through the journey a Glean customer goes through to integrate the agents to their internal data sources and tools. I'll let you take that one.
Yeah. So for Glean customers, as by the virtue of being onboarded to the Glean service, you would connect all of your data sources that the company is using. And through that process, as an admin, you can often define what are the types of people who should access to certain data sources, or Glean can intelligently read all the permissions that are already set up in the data sources so that the read part is already defined there. The beauty of the agents is that not only being able to read all the sources and information from those data sources, but also take actions on behalf of humans too. So during the onboarding process, oftentimes our customers, especially the IT admins and the security professionals, decide what are the types of actions that they feel comfortable letting agents to run automatically without human confirmation, or what are the actions that you think are more risky and therefore you want to require human in the loop. So once you set all this up, then you are ready to go with building the agents. You already have the data sources connected, you have the actions ready. So all it takes is for you to figure out what are the agents that you want to build and go through the agent development lifecycle process to build one, iterate, measure, and repeat that.
Yeah. And I think the other thing too is that because Glean is fundamentally an open platform that is permissions aware, it means that you can run any model for any agent use case. And that flexibility particularly is valuable for a lot of enterprises that want to make sure that they don't have to necessarily pick the right horse as things are changing in AI every few weeks. It's a great way to make sure that you can not only provide a horizontal solution for all of your different departments and teams, but make sure that you can actually leverage the best of what's around, so to speak. Michelle asks, how do you balance building to solve today's friction points versus reimagining, transforming new workflow potential with these new tech possibilities? That's a great question. I'm going to let you start it, and then I will fill in the blanks.
I'm the lucky person to
Yep.
start. This is an excellent question. We actually often see this from our customers too. Like, you can, broadly speaking, think of agent in two different use cases. One is like just automating the existing workflows, and then the other is either augmenting or reimagining the workflows with AI at its core. And one thing that we've seen that gives a great success to the customers is just start with automating the existing workflows if it's already taking up a lot of the time. Oftentimes, how we change work requires a lot of thinking, a lot of alignment, a lot of belief from the very people who need to change how they do day-to-day businesses. So what we see in success is that if you're able to automate certain parts of your workflows that are taking up too much time or creating any blockers for other downstream actions, those are the great candidates to start with so that people see the value of using the AI agents to change their work a little bit. And then you can now start to think about, now that you understand what AI is capable of doing, what is the best way to do our work? Is it the same process? Would you change it a little differently? Would you fundamentally revamp or remove it because it's no longer relevant? Those are the great follow-ups to have once you have great success stories at hand.
Totally. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing that we've learned from our customers like HubSpot is don't bite off more than you have to, right? It doesn't have to necessarily solve every problem off the drop. Like, you really understanding what people are doing today at work to accomplish these different tasks is really important. And then figure out where automation makes sense. I think where a lot of people can go astray is trying to do too much too quickly. And then that ends up causing more problems and thrash downstream than was intended. Last question, and then we are going to let everyone go. How do auto mode agents' context window and output token limit differ from workflow mode agents? I'll let you take this one as well.
Yeah. And then the second part of the question, I'm just trying to finish. Now that the models available in Glean have much more token limits, it's challenging to know how much more capability is available in the agents themselves in Glean versus the standalone frontier models. Another great question. Thank you, Tyler. So the biggest difference with the automate agents versus workflow agents is that automate agents comes with the sandbox. And what it does is that it's able to intelligently use the file system to kind of park some of the context as a separate file and only reference it when it's needed. So let's say you are trying to summarize all the customer tickets to understand what is a common trend in your support use case. Then what the agent can do is, like, for each of the ticket that it has read, it can create a summary, and then it can park it as like summary 1, summary 2 for a group of tickets. Let's say it's like hundreds of tickets and you are parking it at 50 level. Once it's all done, it can reference the summary so that not every single ticket is carried on through the same agent run again and again, which will take up a lot of input tokens. So unlike a workflow agents, with automate agents, we are really confident that the agent innate file system will allow the agent builders and the end users to be able to use a lot more context without having to max out on the input tokens. And then the other thing to also add onto that is that because of the sandbox and the intelligence behind this automate agents, we are also able to do the auto compaction. So when we recognize that, the agent is about to hit the context limit, it will intelligently summarize what was in the context or in the conversation so far, so that it can still reference the main parts of it without having to hit the token limit.
Awesome. All right. We are running out of time. Thank you again for all of your great questions and attending today. But don't forget, please register for Glean Go on August 26th and 27th in San Francisco. And if you'd like more information about Glean, please check out the ADLC, sign up for a demo today, And if we didn't get to your question, please join us at the Gleaniverse on May 13th and May 27th for a dedicated AMA with our team. I might even be there too. But yeah, thanks so much for joining and have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, everyone.